I've made arrangements for them to sign their individual copies and email those pages to me. So we should have by tomorrow. I'll probably present that to Nick. We should have all the signatures by then.
Well, then you'll leave for this passes. I get your signature.
Okay.
All right.
Sure will. Hi, how are you? Just fine. Nice to see you.
Welcome to AT&T's teleconference service. Please enter your access. There are 1 participant on the call, including you. You are joining.
Hi, John.
Yeah, John Cherry.
Fred Hedden.
Yeah, we
Nice to
talked
meet you.
over time, so I just wanted to put a face to the name.
Leora McGee, I'm the former chair of the Charter Review Commission.
Pleasure to meet you. You both did very good work.
Several of them are here, including ourselves.
Peter? Hopefully you've had a chance to look at the resolution. I think that covered everything that we thought would be an issue. And so I don't expect there will be much.
Yep.
I've briefed the state treasurer on the issues. I don't expect there will be much in the way of questions about it. But if there are, we'll certainly turn to somebody in the audience and ask you to help us out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Fred, how are you? Oh, how you doing? Good to see you. Hello, young lady.
Madam Clerk, how are you doing? Good. You've had a busy summer.
Yes, the rest of the world.
I'm fine. How are you doing? Randy.
You all need anything?
I believe we're all set. What I could use is probably not here in this auditorium.
We have anybody on yet? I'm just checking to see if. Thought I heard somebody chime in, but. David or Joel, are you on yet?
Well, that's good.
Hello.
Joel.
Hi, Joel. How are you?
Pretty good.
We'll be getting started in just a second.
Okay.
Should be. I believe it is.
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing?
Oh,
Hi, David. How are you?
good, Fred.
I have both you and Joel on the call. We'll be getting started in just a second.
All right, did you receive that document from me?
I did, yes. Thank you.
Good. Good.
Thank you, Joel, as well.
Okay. How you doing, Joel? Good. Pretty good. Pretty good. A nice day in Michigan. Yeah. Yep. Had a few of those. Let's see here.
Mr. Branch just gave me a resolution for 63, which is the agreement with the Flint and
It's which one?
463, I think it's from the last meeting.
From the 28th?
Yeah, we have all the signatures. We just set the time and everything.
Okay.
But if you just hand it to us, I don't really know what exactly it is. I'm gonna try to find it.
Okay. Why don't you grab Paul and let him know how to get started, unless he's heading back. Oh, he's heading back. Mona, we all set? Meeting will be in order, please. Let the record reflect that we do have a quorum of all members, including Mr. Ferguson, Mr. Tarver, participating by telephone this afternoon. Next item is the approval of the agenda. There are no, that I'm aware of, additions to the agenda. Without objection, we'll consider the agenda to be approved as presented. Next item of business is the approval of the RTAB meeting minutes from August 9th. They're in your packet as attachment 1. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes as presented? If not, I'll entertain a motion that the RTAB meeting minutes from August 9th be approved as submitted.
So moved.
Is there support?
Support.
Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor, please say aye.
This is the September 13th,
Opposed?
2017 City of Flint
Minutes of
Transition
August 9th are
Advisory Board meeting.
approved. Next item of business, unfinished business. We have resolutions 264.1 and 327, both from the regular City Council meeting of June 12th. We have those on the agenda as unfinished business as we did last month, simply as a reminder that we do not yet have all necessary signatures for those resolutions. Therefore, those two resolutions remain unapproved and without effect thus far. Once we acquire the additional signatures, and those can be given to Mr. Klein, we will place those on the agenda for action at a future meeting.
Mr.
Ladies, I assume you're approaching regarding these two items?
Yes, sir, especially in reference to the adoption of the amended rules for City Council. Those particular rules are kind of internal to the council as a body itself in terms of how it functions during the meeting and so forth. And so Angela and I both have talked, and we've determined, kind of agree, that it wasn't necessary for those to appear before your body. The original amendment was adopted in 1976, immediately after the charter. And there have been really no revisions since maybe 2009 and 2010, and just minor revisions at that point. In other words, it has to do with internally how the meetings are supposed to run, and that's basically it.
So this
There isn't
regards
anything external to it.
264.1?
Yes.
If you would please send us whatever information, send it to Eric Klein, please. Whatever information in support of that position, we'll be happy to take a look at it and contact with any questions we might have. Otherwise, if we agree, we'll simply pull this particular item off of our agenda.
You mean the original 1976 version?
No, I'm more interested in sort of the rationale as to why this particular resolution would not need RTAB approval.
We can work together to do that and then send something to Mr. Klein. Yep.
Certainly.
This is the September 13th,
Next item is new business.
2017 Transition Advisory Board meeting.
Mayor and Council President, I understand there's a conference going on at which city officials are in attendance. Mr. Jones, anything on behalf of the mayor's office? Mr. Branch, anything? See Councilman Kincaid. Councilman, anything on behalf of Council President Nelson?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We don't have Anything, Council President Nelson's at a Michigan Municipal League conference, and I'm on a conference call right now discussing the Gleewa water issue that we have, so I'm going to step back out, but I'll come back. If there's any questions for the council when I come back, I'll try to answer them for you. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll proceed next to the approval of resolutions and ordinances from City Council meetings. We'll begin with the resolutions from the regular City Council meeting of August 14, 2017. Mr. Klein.
Yes, good afternoon. From this meeting, we had Resolution 384.2, which was the final adoption of the city's consolidated action plan, which makes them eligible for community development block grant funding. This plan runs from 2017 through 2021. We had Resolution 427, which is a 3-year agreement with ASK Services in the amount of $50,000 for title searches. We have Resolution 428, which is an agreement with Hatch Laboratory Services, a 3-year agreement for laboratory supplies for the Water Department, the amount of $34,000. Resolution 429 with VWR Scientific, again, a 3-year agreement for water system laboratory supplies, the amount of $58,000. We have Resolution 438, which is a budget amendment to the fiscal year 18 budget in the amount of $42,510 to move some money in order to fund a professional service agreement within the police department. I do want to mention that resolutions that are listed here on the agenda, 416 and 417, those are the second reading and adoption of 2 city ordinances. We did not receive resolutions with all the required signatures on those, so I do not know if the board wishes to address those or not. So those are all the resolutions at this time.
We will, without objection, defer action on resolutions 416 and 417 until all necessary signatures have been secured. Regarding the remaining resolutions from August 14th, is there a motion that those resolutions be approved?
So moved.
Is there support?
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. Is there any discussion? Madam City Attorney, regarding one of these items?
Yes, with regard to the ordinances, we were just talking in the back that usually the signatures with regard to the ordinances usually come after they've been passed through this body. So I believe that it was premature to have the mayor and the city clerk's signatures on these in particular, because they had to go through a first and second reading, which they did, and then after their adoption, then the signature comes, but not before. That would have been on resolution or ordinance 170416 and resolution 170417.
So are we talking about a procedural issue regarding these 2 resolutions?
Yes.
So there are certain signatures that are missing?
They are, but the reason for that is because they needed to be adopted first prior to that. Usually, like I said, a resolution, anything of that nature, you would already have the signature on that, but because of the ordinance, making sure those were signed into law after They've been reviewed, and through the process of the Flint City Ordinance going through, or Flint City Charter going through the first and second reading, that is the reason why the signatures are not on these items presently.
So these two items don't have the signatures. Have they since been signed? We're talking about, well, roughly a month now since the meeting, city council meeting at which these were adopted. Is it simply a matter of the copies that we have didn't have the signatures?
No, really it's because they needed to come to RTAP first prior to having the signatures applied to these. I mean, the process would be to go through a first and second reading, and in this case, go through the RTAP process and then get the signatures on these in particular because they are ordinances.
I see. We'll include these two then, 416 and 417, if there's no objection to the motion that's already been made and seconded. If there's no discussion, those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is adopted. Next item of business would be resolutions from the special city council meeting of August 24th. Mr. Klein?
There were two resolutions at this meeting. You have Resolution 410, which is the reconsideration of a change order for a contract with McDaniel Consulting for the Fast Start program in the amount of $60,000. And you have an agreement with F&V Operations. This is Resolution 455. It is to hire two individuals to serve as laboratory staff for the water department. This contract is in the amount of $23,406. I believe that was a 30-day agreement. Those are the only resolutions for this meeting.
Is there a motion that those resolutions be approved?
Move.
So move.
Support.
Support.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion is adopted. That brings us to resolutions from the regular city council meeting of August 28th. Mr. Klein.
Yes. For this meeting, we have Resolution 448, which is a budget amendment to the current year budget in the amount of $79,789. We have Resolution 449, which is an agreement with Michigan State University to implement the RECAST grant, which is a federal Health and Human Services grant. It is a, as I said, a 5-year grant in the amount of $770,000 per year. We have Resolution 450, which is another budget amendment for the amount of $510,000. We have Resolution 451, which is a change order with the Contract Innovative Software Services for additional income tax administration services in the amount of $78,000. This is a 3-year agreement. Resolutions 456 and 457 set a couple of public hearing dates. We have Resolution 458, which is an agreement for cell service with Western State Contract Alliance. We have Resolution 459 with an agreement with Canfield Equipment for $80,000 to outfit 6 police patrol cars. We have Resolution 460.1, which is an agreement with Metron Fernier for 1,100 water meters in the amount of $200,000. We have Resolution 463, which is a letter of agreement with the City Firefighters Union regarding some internal matters for absences. And I will note for the record, before the meeting today, Mr. Branch handed me an item that the title of this agreement has been amended to read letter of agreement as opposed to letter of understanding. That's the only change to it, but it does differ slightly from what was provided to you for you to review. I do have a copy of that. It does have all the signatures, but it's a very minor adjustment. I just wanted to note it for the record. We'll include that in the packet.
Any substantive changes?
Not is my understanding.
Simply a change in the title. Thank you.
And then finally, we have Resolution 465, which is a change order with Zito Construction for right-of-way repair as part of the Fast Start program. And that's an additional contract to pick up services in additional portions of the city. That's a $1.159 million contract.
And that's a companion, is it not, to Resolution 464 that we
Yes, it is. Resolution 464, there was an agreement between the city and a company called Jaeger Asphalt to perform those right-of-way services. Apparently there was some dispute over contract implementation, so the city rescinded that contract with Jaeger Asphalt and then assigned it to Zito Construction, is my understanding how that worked. So.
And
Does the city have any legal exposure on rescinding the contract?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
David, we're in the process of having the city attorney come up to the microphone. The question from Mr. Tarver was whether or not the city will have any legal exposure from rescinding the contract.
There should not be, because this was rescinded because of the other company not being able to perform under the agreement. So there shouldn't be any type of liability because the other company, I believe they rescinded their obligation, or they could not fulfill it. So that's why we went with Jaeger.
And two related questions. One is, will this cause any delay in the work that's being done by being transferred from one contractor to the other?
No, actually, in conversations with the personnel that would supervise this contract, as soon as this is approved by the RTAB, then they will be able to begin work. So it will not delay any work. Actually, there has been a delay because Jaeger was not equipped to perform the work, and so if this is approved today, then the new company can begin work right away.
And will the contractor to which this contract would be transferred, Zito Construction, I assume the city has assured itself that they're capable of doing this additional work?
That is certainly my understanding, that the purchasing department as well as the streets and traffic division have had conversations with this group. Not only has previous work with this group as well.
Thank you.
All right.
Is there a motion that the resolutions from August 28th City Council meeting be approved?
So moved. Support.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is adopted. That brings us to consideration of RTAB Resolution 2017-1. As I'm sure everybody here is aware, at the August 8th primary, the voters of the city of Flint approved a new city charter that takes effect, I believe, on January 1 of 2018. It was brought to the attention of the RTAB thereafter that there are two outstanding emergency manager orders that might impede the full implementation of the charter. First of all, in December of 2011, as I recall, Emergency Manager Brown issued Order Number 5, which eliminated the Office of Ombudsman in the current charter. I believe that was done for cost-saving reasons. And then subsequently, in April of 2015, Emergency Manager Ambrose issued a final order, Order Number 20, which, among other things, prohibited funding for that office. There's some belief that those two orders, even though they applied to the current charter, might very well spill over into the new charter and prohibit or impede full implementation of those portions of the new charter that deal with the office of ombudsperson. So to avoid any possible doubt as to whether that might occur and to fully respect the will of the voters as expressed last month, this particular RTAB resolution has been proposed under the RTAB appointment letter from the governor from April 28th of 2015. The RTAB can propose changes to existing EM orders to the state treasurer, who, if he approves, can either modify or repeal existing EM orders. And so that is the purpose of this particular resolution. Before calling for a vote, I do want to acknowledge the fact that there are members of the Charter Revision Commission as well as their able attorney in the audience this afternoon, and want to certainly compliment them for their hard work on putting together a document that met with the obvious approval of the majority of the residents of the city of Flint. Under our rules of procedure, RTAB resolutions require a record roll call vote. So I will begin by asking regarding Resolution 2017-1, Mr. Ferguson, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson votes yes. Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Newman votes yes. Mr. Tarver?
Yes.
Mr. Tarver votes yes. Chair votes yes. There are 4 ayes, no nays. Resolution 2017-1 is adopted. Next item of business, city administrator items. Mr. Jones or Ms. Steele?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I forwarded to your office a copy of the revenue and expenditure report with budget to actual through July 31st of 2017, and it also included year-end balances for June 30th of 2017. As I've stated in prior meetings, we will commence our annual audit on October 16th, and hopefully everything will go well and we'll be able to file it before the deadline of December 31st. Our hope is to have it filed by Thanksgiving. Going through and reviewing revenue and expenditures for June 30th, we are on target. No funds will have a deficit other than our 2 grant funds, and that's because the revenue has been requested to be drawn down and we just haven't received it yet. But all other operating funds will be in line with the adopted budgets. The current year, this is only the first month of the fiscal year, revenues for property and taxes and that get posted for the full year as of July 31st. So a lot of the funds you'll see, revenue is substantially above expenditures, but as the year goes on, that will change. If you have any questions or comments, I'll be happy to answer them.
Questions, gentlemen?
Just one.
Mr. Newman?
When we receive information on how well the process is moving forward between now and December,
Yes, you'll get I'll provide you with the annual or a monthly budget to actual. And then if there's any concerns with the auditors, once they come in or we notice something that we hadn't noticed prior, I will be sure to bring it before this board.
thank you.
Other questions? Without objection, the report is received.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
This is the September 13th, 2017 Transition Advisory Board meeting.
Public comment. Mr. Klein, did anyone sign up?
We have one individual that has signed up for public comment this month, R.L. Mitchell.
Good evening, Ty.
Mr. Mitchell?
Mr. R.L. Mitchell, and I'm concerned about this 264.1 adoption. We the peoples of 63, you will find that you want to investigate your rationale or what puts you, rely on you to have time to investigate on the rationale of this 1966. But you will find that in 64, the same rationale is in 64 and 66. But we appreciate the peoples of Flint what you're doing so far to give us a chance at this situation. My God.
Mr. Klein?
1964 chair here. Mr. Jones, you slipping.
At least one person.
Mr. Klein, no one else? I think this would be an appropriate time to adjourn. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Presented by Spectacle Productions. And underwritten in part by the Flint Pipe Fitters Union, looking for pipe fitters apprentices throughout Flint. With more information available by calling 810-720-5243 or online at local370.com.